This message is drawn from my book, Joseph's Wisdom: How to Survive and Thrive in Goshen During the Era of the New World Order. It's more than a teaching, it's a prophetic call to those God is awakening for this hour. Each module in this masterclass brings the pages of that book to life, helping you discern your assignment and understand what it means to be called, chosen, and sent. There are moments when God disrupts everything familiar, moments when comfort can no longer contain your calling. For me, it began with a command that pierced through the ordinary rhythm of life. The Lord said, "Get out now. Sell everything." Goshen, a refuge for my people. I didn't fully understand what he meant then, but I've learned divine assignments rarely begin with full understanding. They begin with obedience. Goshen is more than a place. It is both a physical and spiritual posture, a realm of refuge, preservation, and divine positioning. It is a place where God hides his people in plain sight while preparing them to govern in times of global shaking. Joseph understood this. In Genesis 45 verses 4 to 5, Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. Now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here, for God sent me ahead of you to save life and preserve our family." What a revelation! Joseph didn't see himself as a victim of betrayal. He saw himself as a man sent on divine assignment. Many are called, but few are chosen, and even fewer are sent. That's what Matthew 22 verse 14 declares. For many are called, but few are chosen. You see, being called means God has invited you to purpose. Being chosen means you've been selected and refined through process. But being sent means you've been commissioned, authorized to move in power and divine timing. John 3 verse 34 says, "For he whom God has sent speaks the words of God." That means a true sent one doesn't echo culture. They carry heaven's language to the earth. Called, chosen, sent. Each stage requires surrender. Each level demands obedience. And every transition asks one question: will you trust God enough to move when he says, go? Goshen was a real territory, fertile land in Egypt preserved for Israel during famine. It was where Joseph's obedience met divine strategy. In Genesis 45 verses 10 to 11, Joseph said, "You shall live in the land of Goshen, and you shall be close to me. There I will provide for you." Even now, God is assigning his people to physical Goshens, places of provision, strategy, and refuge. Some are geographic, others are vocational or digital. For some, Goshen might be a business, a ministry, or a piece of land. When I obeyed God's instruction to relocate to Florida, I wrestled with comfort. I didn't understand the urgency, but I learned this truth: obedience doesn't wait for convenience. Isaiah 1 verse 19 says, "If you are willing and obedient, you shall eat the best of the land." Your Goshen may not look comfortable, but it will be fruitful. There is also a spiritual Goshen, a hidden place in God's presence where revelation flows and fear cannot dwell. It's the posture of those who draw near to him in the midst of chaos. The very name Goshen means to draw near, and that's what God is calling his people to do, to draw near to him in prayer, worship, and obedience. Psalm 46 verse 1 says, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." When you draw near, he reveals what others cannot see. In John 14 verses 2 to 3, Yeshua said, "I go to prepare a place for you." That place is not just a mansion, it's a position of intimacy. In spiritual Goshen, provision is not just physical, it's prophetic. It's peace in the storm, clarity in confusion, and discernment in deception. Some are sent to occupy, others are called to take dominion. To occupy is to manage what exists. To take dominion is to expand God's order in that space. In Genesis 1 verses 26 to 28, God gave mankind dominion over the earth. Dominion is not domination, it is righteous stewardship. I remember standing on my land one day and encountering a snake. It didn't strike, it submitted. In that moment, the Lord said, "Creation recognizes authority when it's rooted in obedience. That is dominion." When your authority is backed by God's presence, even the earth responds. Psalm 24 verse 1 says, "The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness of it." So when He sends you to Goshen, you're not going to hide, you're going to establish His kingdom order. Father, awaken the Josephs, Esthers, and watchmen you are sending to Goshen. Give us clarity to know when you are calling, choosing, and sending. Grant us courage to obey and faith to step into new territories. May we walk in dominion, stewarding what you've placed in our hands. In Yeshua's mighty name, amen.